Let's check the news here. Nathan Cohns with the latest update from the KCIM News Studio.
Thank you very much, John, and good morning, everyone. The Carroll City Council meets for its first meeting of 2024 today, which marks the beginning of budget season for city officials. City Manager Aaron Koiker says they are nearly finished with department preparations, and council members should receive their budget books in the coming weeks.
Going well. We'll have our budget book to the council here on the second meeting of January, which is the 22nd. And our first meetings regarding the budget are going to be February 5th and the 7th.
Koiker adds they are not anticipating any major obstacles in the fiscal year 2025 budget, and he expects overall tax receipts to increase by 2.5%, which is below the current inflation rate. Of note, the U.S. inflation rate has exceeded 3% since April of 2021. There are several ordinances on today's agenda as well. The council will consider the second reading for a speed zone change on Grant Road near Fairview Elementary. Koiker says they have not heard any comments from the public yet, so the council will likely waive the required third reading. That ordinance does not change the speed zone mile per hour limit. Instead, it changes the location of where the speed zone is located. The two other ordinances concern economic development issues.
So the TIF ordinance is just passing that TIF ordinance, so I would anticipate that to have a waiver of the third reading also. But that's putting that area in place so that we can collect the tax increment that Ziegler provides us so that we can pay for the water and sewer extensions out to that property. So that's the important part there. The Ziegler property is going to pay for that extension of the water and sewer. Rolling Hills South rezoning, that's changing from ag ground to R3.
The developer in that case, 704 Development Corporation, plans to construct around 24 new residential units in the Rolling Hills South neighborhood. Koiker says they are also looking at solutions at the city level to the dozen or so vacant homes found in the community.
Basically what it is if you've got a house that hasn't been hooked up to utilities, it's starting to become a nuisance, it's empty, hasn't had anybody in it for an excessive period of time, it has to be registered as a vacant property. And if you don't want to pay that vacant property, you put your house for sale and let somebody buy it, and then they can live in it, they can occupy it, or they can rent it out to somebody. But rather than having these properties sit and deteriorate, we want people living in them, we want people maintaining them.
Other items on today's agenda include adjustments to the city attorney contract and an ordinance restricting shipping containers used for long-term storage on residential properties. Today's meeting begins at 5:15 p.m. at Carroll City Hall. It is open to the public and will be live streamed via the City of Carroll YouTube page. Links to both are included with this story on our website. And the 2024 Iowa legislative session begins later this morning with more tax cuts at the top of the majority party's agenda. Governor Kim Reynolds will outline her priorities during a speech at the Capitol on Tuesday evening. Reynolds has been saying elimination of the state income tax is a long-term goal.
We're sitting on a pretty good surplus, and we got money there, and we're going to turn it back to Iowans, and we need to be more competitive.
The state income tax is currently scheduled to shrink to one rate of 3.9% for income tax payments due in 2027. Senate Majority Leader Jack Whitver says expediting that tax cut is likely the first step lawmakers will take in the tax debate.
And then what comes next will probably be the main conversation of the session.
House Speaker Pat Grassley says as discussion of eliminating the income tax begins, House Republicans will press to ensure the state can meet its spending commitments. Democrats say Iowans have more immediate concerns that should be addressed by lawmakers, like the lack of child care slots and affordable housing. Senate Minority Leader Pam Yoakum, a Democrat from Dubuque, says it's time for lawmakers to get serious about investing in a mental health care system for children.
We've had a problem for a long time. The pandemic has made it that much worse. We have seen more and more children with anxiety issues, behavioral health issues than we ever did before.
Republicans have held the House, Senate, and governorship for the past 7 years. Whitver says aside from taxes, they've accomplished almost every other top policy item on the GOP agenda.
We're in a really great spot as a state. I think, frankly, we're in the strongest position we've ever been as a state. And so you don't always need to invent new things to do. Sometimes you just say, you know what, we've checked off the major things that we want to do, and let's let the economy run like we've set it up to run.
House Republicans are calling for tougher penalties for groups caught stealing from retailers, so-called smash and grab episodes that have taken place in other states. Grassley says House Republicans also plan to review K-12 education standards, school discipline policies, as well as teacher pay, and investigate whether out-of-state staffing agencies are overcharging Iowa hospitals and nursing homes.
I don't think just because we've done a lot of big things, we can now all of a sudden be like, well, here we are, let's take a time out. I think that's not why Iowans sent us here or will send us back.
The House and Senate are scheduled to convene at 10 a.m. That will be wrapping up your KCIM 8 o'clock news. I'm Nathan Combs reporting.
Thanks, Nathan, for the news update. Once again, local news, statewide news, national news. We got it all available on the website. Go to 1380kcim.com or download that mobile app. You can access it for free anytime right there on your phone. So download that by searching KCIM in your app store.